So here we are. Now the world has 26,000 hydrogen bombs. I want to describe a hydrogen bomb. You're in Albany, just next door. Albany's targeted probably with a couple of hydrogen bombs, but New York is targeted with 40. 40. There's such a redundancy of weapons. Yet they talk about terrorists. Of the 26,000 bombs in the world, Russia and America own 97% of them. Who are the real rogue states? Who are they? Yeah, you. And Russia, holding the world at nuclear ransom. If the weapons are launched on one side, they take 30 minutes to hit, with 40 bombs on New York, 60 on Washington. Every town and city with a population of 25,000 or more is targeted with at least one bomb. And I'm going to describe a bomb coming in here, a big one. Russia has inaccurate, very big bombs. It will explode in Albany with the heat inside the centre of the sun. It will dig a hole 3/4 of a mile wide and 800 feet deep, turning everything into radioactive fallout, including the people in the buildings. 5 miles from the epicentre. How far are you from Albany? 10 miles? 5 miles from the epicentre, everyone will be vaporised. A little boy in Hiroshima was reaching up to catch a red dragonfly on the blue of the sky, on his hand against the blue of the sky, and there was a blinding flash, and he literally disappeared and left his shadow on the pavement. Never before had man been able to vaporise his fellow human beings. 5 miles from Albany. Then 20 miles from Albany in all directions, everyone lethally burnt. Burn patient is the most difficult we ever treat. Everyone will die. People will be sucked out of high-rise buildings, turned into missiles travelling at 100 miles an hour. Glass flying through the air at 100 miles an hour, decapitating people. Then the whole area will be engulfed in a firestorm of 3,000 square miles, even in the middle of winter. The heat is so intense. And as every town and city in America, North America, Canada, is so targeted with at least one bomb, the fires will coalesce north and south, east to west, and the whole continent will burn. Europe is so targeted by Russia. Since the Cold War ended, America's had the audacity to target China. England's targeted, Australia's targeted, Japan's targeted, because there's so many weapons. There are only 240, I think, major cities in the Northern Hemisphere. And these weapons are ready to go. There are I flew over the missile silos the other day and I looked up, there are hundreds of them. You see, if you fly over in North Dakota and South Dakota, these roads ending in a sort of square box. And there's another road going here and a square box. Inside those boxes are 2 men, aged 18 to 20, each armed with a pistol, one to shoot the other if one shows signs of deviant behaviour. What if the deviant one shoots the normal one? The locks are 12 feet apart. They have keys, so one man can't turn both keys and start a nuclear war, but if you tie a string to one key, one man can start a nuclear war. In October, they lost all their power and communications with the Pentagon. In October this year, which could have initiated a nuclear war. In 1997, America launched a missile from Norway with a weather satellite on it. They had warned the Kremlin forgot. They picked up the attack with the early warning system, and for the first time the football was opened in Moscow. Do you know what a football is? If you see Obama, always walking just behind him is a man with a suitcase which has the codes to start a nuclear war. When Reagan was shot, they lost the football for 3 days. Clinton had some codes in his coat pocket and he got his coat dry cleaned. He lost his nuclear codes. And Yeltsin, the football was open. He was probably drunk and he had generals standing over his shoulder and he had 3 minutes to decide whether or not to blow up the planet. And the generals were saying, press that button, Mr. President. 10 seconds before the end of that 3 minutes elapsed, the missile veered off course. That's why we're here tonight. And those situations occur not infrequently, all the time, and now the Chinese are hacking into the early warning system in the Pentagon. And that's called cyber war, because all of these things are computerized. Christ Almighty, what the hell do we think we're doing? Ready to blow up the planet. We now hold the world in the palm of our hands. We are the curators of life on the planet, including 30 million other species that cohabit the planet with us. So when and if the bombs land and the whole of America and Europe, etc., burns, the Earth will be covered with a cloud so thick it'll block out the sun for up to 10 years, creating a short ice age and nuclear winter. And I once said to Carl Sagan, Carl, do you think there's other life in the universe? And he looked at me, he said, no. And I said, why? He said, because any other creatures who'd reached our stage of development would have destroyed themselves. Can we get past the stage of killing each other? Can we? Stop killing. You've got to dismantle the Pentagon. Bloody hell, it's not defence. It's war. This is a whole empire that controls the world and steals all the natural resources and gets cheap labour. You can't live another day without remembering what I've just said and devoting your lives to saving the creation.